channel. For those of you who don't know me, or if you've never been here before, welcome. My name's Rachel. I'm the owner and creator here at the Eclectic Cottage in Spokane, Washington. Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope you enjoyed your Easter. I hope the weather was good for you. I know my weekend was good. It wasn't as great as we'd hoped. We'd ended up not getting to spend time with the grandbabies or my daughter and her husband because my husband ended up getting a cold, and so we just had to kind of stay home and hunker down. But we did make a nice dinner for ourselves, and I went out and enjoyed some time in my yard and did some cleanup on Sunday. And then yesterday we had rain, so I spent the whole day in the greenhouse planting seeds, and I planted I think around 1,500 seeds yesterday. So I'm excited to get all of that done. But it was just a busy day, and today being Tuesday, I'm back here at the cottage, and I have been working diligently on the bottom of the hutch that I've had here for way too long, kind of taking up space here in my cottage. And I thought it was going to be a simple job. I thought I was just going to be able to paint the hutch, and then I really wanted to, it's got like these little wooden frames on the doors and the door panel in the middle, and I was really excited because I was going to do like a blending technique on those, and I thought by now I would have it completely done and rolled out here on the floor and have the whole thing to show you guys and be already started on the top of it, but that is not what happened. Unfortunately, while I was cleaning it, I felt around the side and realized that there were a whole bunch of cracks in the veneer and bubbles on the one side. And since it was facing the way that it had been, I never saw them until I cleaned it. And so before I could paint, before I could do anything else, those bubbles all had to be addressed. And so you'll see in the video what I did to fix them. It was a very time-consuming process. I tried to do two at once, and as I was going, the glue would start lifting on one, and I'm trying to fix the other one, and it was too much. So I had to do it one crack, one bubble at a time, all the way across and then down across the bottom to make sure everything was nice and done. And then once it was finished and I had it all sanded pretty smooth, I had to hit it with 3 coats of shellac just to make darn sure that if there were any openings anywhere, that nothing would seep in and re-bubble that veneer back up. So it was a lot more work than I had anticipated by far, but I'm happy to say that it is almost completely done with the painting. I'm hoping before I actually get this video done that I will get to start actually blending some of the paint on the door fronts, which would be kind of fun. I've been looking forward to that. It's exciting. Never done it before, so kind of nervous to do it, but figured it was worth a shot. Worst case, I'll hate it and just have to go back over the white with the green and call it a day. But I'm really hopeful that it'll turn out kind of like what I've got going on in my head. We'll see. But anyway, I'm sorry I didn't get as far as I'd hoped. I really, like I said, wanted to have the whole bottom done for you for this video, but that isn't where we are. Anyway, I hope you do enjoy the video, and I'll show you kind of what I did to fix the problem. So if you ever run into this issue with veneer, it's kind of an easy, time-consuming, but easy solution for it. And if you do like the video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my content, kind of what I do here in my kitchen, aka my studio at the cottage, and all my little projects and things, please remember to subscribe to my channel, and then hit the little notification bell. That will let you know when I upload new content. I currently am sticking to Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesday I try and give you some sort of a flip or a DIY or trash to treasure, and then Friday, if I do a junk run on the weekend, is my thrift haul. If I don't, then I'll be putting something else in there. With Easter on Sunday, obviously we did not go out on a junk run, and so I'll be putting something else in there for Friday's video. So anyway, without further ado though, I'll show you what progress I did manage to get done on my little hutch. So here is the bottom of the hutch I'm working on. Now, when I bought this, it did not come with any hardware for the bottom. So I decided rather than trying to find hardware to match the holes that were already in it, it was probably best to just fill the holes. That way I could start fresh with whatever hardware I found later on. So here I am just putting some masking tape behind the holes and then filling each one with some Durham's water putty. Just being careful to push the putty all the way through to the masking tape in the back and then letting it sit and dry. Once it was dry, I took my sanding block with some 220 grit sandpaper and just sanded everything nice and smooth. One thing I've noticed about the water putty is that it does tend to shrink just a little, so I always leave a tad extra on the outside that I have to sand off just to make sure it ends up with a nice smooth finish. Once that was done, it was on to cleaning, so I grabbed my crud cutter and gave it a good spray down, grabbed my shop towel and started wiping it, and that is where I discovered the issue I was going to have to fix. I'll show you that in just a second, but I did go ahead and continue with the cleaning. Then I grabbed my clean water just to make sure there wasn't any crud cutter residue left on this piece. And here is what I found. Some bubbles and cracks in the veneer on one end of this piece. Not excited to have to fix them. So how I did that was I took a razor blade and each individual crack, one at a time, I would open it up with my razor blade, peel the veneer very carefully so as not to mess it up too badly, to the point where I could get this little paintbrush in there with some glue, and I would push as much glue in as I possibly could get on both sides of the crack. Once I had a nice glue amount in there, I would make sure that when I pushed it down, both sides of the crack aligned back up so there weren't any bubbles or lifted areas. And then I would push out the excess glue with my finger, wipe it off with a shop towel, and then I went out and grabbed this big piece of pavement we had and stuck that on there for weight. And I had to do that with every single one of the bubbles and cracks. Then once that was done, I sanded everything smooth and gave it 3 shots with shellac just to make sure it was all sealed and ready for paint. And then it was finally on to painting my piece. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, I decided I wanted to do kind of a blending technique. So I painted the inside of those frames with DIY's crinoline. And I'm painting the rest of the piece with a new color from Sweet Pickins Milk Paint called Birdie, which is this absolutely gorgeous kind of greeny blue, which I just love. Now you might ask me, why milk paint? Well, there's a few reasons I picked this type of paint for this piece. I love the way milk paint finishes. It has a really nice eggshell finish to it when it's done. Really smooth. It's a self-leveling paint. Milk paint is all natural, 100% VOC free. It's made here in the United States. It comes in great colors. It is definitely, though, a little bit trickier to work with than your standard clay-based paint. You have to mix it with water. If you want it to stick to a piece, you really need to add extra bond. It can chip. There's just some things with it. It kind of has a personality of its own, I guess, and I think that's why I like it. It is a bit thinner than your standard chalk paint as well, so I did have to go over this piece 3 times to get a really good coverage, but I absolutely love this color, and so far I'm really happy with how this piece is turning out. For today. Thank you so much for being here and joining me on my little journey with this hutch. Hopefully the road ahead is a little less bumpy than it has been so far. What'd you think of the paint color I picked? I hope you like it. I know I really do. It's kind of a mix of blue and green. It's just a really pretty color, and I'm excited to move on to the next steps of blending and putting some transfers on this piece and getting it ready to go out on the floor. So I'm hoping you'll join me on Friday. It will be part 2 of the Hutch makeover, and I'm hoping by then I will have basically the entire bottom portion of it complete. So that is my goal. Keep your fingers crossed that I don't run across any more issues, and I will see you back here on Friday. In the meantime, if you like what you see and you want to see more content like this and what I've got going on here in my kitchen, please think about subscribing to my channel and then hitting the little notification bell, and that way you are alerted when I upload a new video. Again, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you on Friday. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.